Hello, welcome to Electronic Beats B-Sides with myself, Appleblim. And we're here in Latitude Records, one of my favourite record shops in Berlin, in Neukölln. And I'm going to play you a selection of some of my favourite B-Sides. Number one, my first B-side selection is by a bit of an 80s, almost supergroup, you might call it. This is a kind of somewhere between a disco, dub, pop, Balearic kind of thing, 1983, Island Recordings. And believe it or not, Sting did a lot of work on this record, but along with a woman called Lynn Goldsmith, who was a famous photographer who did a lot of sleeves back in the day for things like B-52s and many, many 80s records that you would recognise. But she did a project called Will Powers, and it is almost a poking fun at the wellness, kind of a self-help guru kind of thing in the 80s. So this was almost a bit of a hit, but it's in classic B-side style. I go for the B-side dub version, which is just one of these slow, chugging, cosmic dubby grooves that people always ask about when I play it. My next B-side is from Hot Flush Recordings, one of the early dubstep labels, from a producer called Toasty, who is one of my favourite old school producers of that sound. Some people used to call it breakstep because it involves break beats. But this tune, the A-side was huge, massive, called The Knowledge, which was a big, big dance floor thing. The B-side, Like Sun, is hands down just one of my favourite pieces of electronic music, just in general. And I think if you're into this kind of deep Photech style drum and bass, I think Toasty is the person who has got closest to that without being Photech, if you see what I mean. So it's a very emotional and deep, slow motion, breakbeat, epic, beautiful, gorgeous record. So yeah, out to Toasty and out to Paul Scuba, Hot Flush, back in the day business. This next B-side comes from the kind of, looks like it's going to be a cheesy record, but actually isn't kind of pile. Petra and Company, Just Let Go. And it's the dub mix on the B-side, which is an absolute kind of slammer. Fabio and Groove Rider used to play it. I first heard it on a tape. The first rave tape I ever really got from a place called Zena's in Plymouth. And it took me years to find out what this tune was. It absolutely blew my mind, along with quite a few other tunes on that mix. And this is back in the days of no internet, etc. And it just took me until I was working in a record shop to actually find out what this is. And it's got the old school Detroit stabs, it's got rolling break beats, and it's got these freaky stabs that just, it still sounds so fresh to me. So yeah, looks pretty cheesy, definitely isn't. next B-side from one of my all-time favorite releases ever. I guess one of the most important hardcore records ever written, I think you could say. Goldie, of course, Metalheads. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a Metalheads kid from back in the day. They blew my mind and changed the way I thought about music, actually, and experienced music by going to their club nights. This is 1992, and obviously the big tune that everybody knows is Terminator, which introduced not even quite time stretching. It was actually pitching breakbeats up in pitch without changing their speed, so you'll hear it. Everybody knows that tune, it's an absolute classic. All 4 tunes on this EP are essential, but it's actually Knowledge that I want to play on the B-side, and it's almost like a relic of Terminator. He does the same sort of style things with the breaks, and there's even a few sounds shared, but it goes darker, harder, and kind of stranger. And I think that was the role of the B-side on rave records often. You'd get the kind of harder, kind of more out there tunes, and lots of people love this tune as much as Terminator, and it's just an absolute classic.
We are controlling.
So my final selection for the B-sides is quite a nice personal story, and it's bang up to date. In fact, this record isn't out yet. I was kindly sent this test pressing by a band that I got chatting to because I heard their music on NTS, and I actually just got in touch through, I think, Instagram, which takes me back to the days of things like MySpace, where you could just get in touch with people. I guess that's the plus side of social media. And they were just really cool and friendly and loved the fact that I enjoyed what I heard, which was a Keith Tenniswood remix of this band, Deeply Armed, from Belfast. They've got lots coming up next year. This is going to be out in January. They've got an album, they're going to be playing live, and they've got these really interesting, I guess loosely you could call it cosmic, kind of Balearic influenced, but they've got Keith Tenniswood on the remix here, which is the one I'm going to play. They've also got remixes from Mad Professor, Brendan Lynch from the Lynch Mob, Richard Fearless, David Holmes, and yeah, there's lots to come from them. And it's just really nice to make a personal connection with people and kind of swap records. I sent them my album, they sent me this, and just, yeah. And this is a fantastic remix by Keith Tenniswood, also known as Radioactive Man, who is one of my all-time favorite artists. And I think he absolutely nailed doing a really interesting B-side version of the A-side. So big up Deeply Armed and big up Keith. Okay, this is Appleblim signing off. Thanks for watching Electronic Beats B-sides. It was hard to choose from so many, but hopefully that was a little spread of some old stuff and some unreleased stuff. And thank you for listening and watching. Cheers.